Thank you. We're all aware that we have a game tomorrow, and we resumed camp since on Saturday. The players have been arriving based on their various locations, and from Sunday, sorry, we started our preparations with the recovery. Monday we had a session. Yesterday we had a session, and then we'll round up our preparations for the game tomorrow by this evening. So from what we have seen so far and the response from the players, we are good to go.
So what will be your expectations of the match?
Naturally, when you go out to play any game, your expectation is to win, and we are praying and hoping and planning, preparing to ensure that we make Nigerians happy by winning.
Next question.
Um, Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abdul Qadir Media. Coach, two questions, sir. The first one is two games in charge of the Super Falcons against Ethiopia in the Olympic qualifiers. The team started a bit slow and picked up more in the second half. Are you concerned with that, with the way your team has started those games, and do you think you can work on better, knowing fully well that we are playing the first leg here in Nigeria, and there are only little rooms for some little errors. Now, second question. This is it. Go with the first one.
Yeah, most times when you prepare for a game, you always expect that your team will always be on the front foot. And naturally, you don't expect to start badly. You always want to start well and to do well. But circumstances, the game of football is something that you cannot predict. And that is why there are errors. And when you notice such errors, you try to work on them to make sure that they are corrected. Yes, we may not have started, the way we had expected in the game against Ethiopia. But like I explained in that particular game, the players were very anxious, knowing fully well what was at stake, and they were anxious to impress and to ensure that we get the results because our game plan was to ensure that we get early goals so that that can also help us to settle much earlier, play a more enterprising game, and ensure that all the pressure, the nerves will all be calmed. But that did not also turn out the way we had expected. But thank God, in the second half, they got their acts better, and then you saw the result at the end of the game.
Okay, my second question, Coach. Hussein Ringsola, two games with the Super Falcons, but she's yet to start. Not to let out your team news, are we going to see a possible first start for her in tomorrow's game alongside Esther Wednesday?
Well, all the players in camp are good to go. I can say she can start, but anything can happen between now and the match time, and that will also warrant a change. So as it is now, I can only say all the players are good to go, and by tomorrow, God willing, when all the players are in a good shape and no problem, no challenges, and then we'll be able to let you know who and who are going to start. It will not be proper for me to now tell you so player is starting, and tomorrow when you come and you don't find her starting, it raises another eyebrow and questions will begin to thrown at me. Why did you told us yesterday that you are going to play this player, but today the player is not playing? Not minding the circumstances. So that is why I will also just let you know that all the players, for now, they are all good to go.
Okay, coach.
No, the players are not here as monitors. Let's ask
Okay.
players questions.
Okay. Greetings to you, coach, and the players, Rashidat and Osi. My name is David Boku from Flow FM. My question is, with everyone good to go now, we know we have some absentees in the team which are key players. Does this give you a little bit of a selection headache? The last game here in Abuja, you won comprehensively. But without these key additions, does this give you a selection headache?
Well, when you assemble a team, you always want to get the best of your players around. People keep making comparisons with the performance of the Super Falcons at the World Cup, expecting that each time we go out, they want to see the same level of performance. Yes, it is right and appropriate for people to want to see the players, sustaining whatever standard they may have set for the team at the World Cup. But let's be realistic with ourselves. Since after the World Cup, we've not been able to get at least even half of the players that played at the World Cup due to one reason or the other. And the issue of blending is not something that just happens overnight. It takes a while for people to be able to understand what is it that they really need to do and for them to gel collectively as a team. The key players may not have been here, but the ones that are also here are putting in their best to also ensure that the fact that others are not here does not mean we lower the standards. The standard has been set already, and we must try to sustain that standard and even try to ensure that we do even much better. Opportunities like this will always come for others to also, showcase themselves, and let's also see them and see what they can do. The more quality players we have around, the better for us because it brings about competition, which will also get the best out of all the players. So yes, it might be a worry, but what do you do? You have to work within the limit of what is available to you.
Okay, this is the question for Rashidat and Osinachi Ohali, veterans in the Super Falcons team. Do the younger players, those who have received call-up, come to you for advice, and how have you been able to put them through how to carry themselves in the Falcons camp, the camp, and as you build up to, crucial match days like this?
Yes. I would say I've not seen any, none of them have approached me, but I can understand and I can make excuses for them because I mean it's their first time or their first call up, and they are probably like kind of like shy. They don't really know who is who and something like that. But individually, like for me, it's not something I don't wait until like players come to me for any kind of advice or something. If I see something, I tell them, even if on the field, like I try to tell them one or two things that will help the team and also help their game. And then if I have the time to call them like in my room or wherever, I also like try to advise them and give them the confidence because we all started like this and we had one or two people that was there for us to direct us. So I think yeah.
Okay, thank you. For
No.
Rashidat,
What is that?
they're preparing for crucial games. Could you let us into, how you go about your business preparing for key games like this when in the Super Falcons camp?
Personally or as a team, please?
Pardon?
Personally or as a team?
Personally and as a team too. Personally and as a team.
Okay. As a team, I think the most important thing we do is we just stay focused on training, and we all, make sure that everything we do in and out of the training, we stay professional and we're responsible for ourselves to take care of each other. And yeah, we just know that we know what is at stake. We want to go to the Nations Cup. We don't want any excuses. Of course, there are a lot of things that could be an excuse, but we have to leave everything aside and we have to focus on what is more important, which is taking care of ourselves, giving our 100% and, staying competitive and, talking to each other as a team, before the games and, giving in, advising each other what our input is going to be individually on that team, be it on the bench, be it you starting, and so everybody has an input. So we most of the time, speak to each other, and most of the time we push ourselves beyond the limit on the field just to make sure that, yeah, when we get to the game the next day, we're giving everything on that field, and I want to come out, on that field knowing too well that we've done our best.
Okay.
Um, um, this question is for Rashidat. Quickly, 2 games as captain of the Falcons, you've been captain, and we saw the last game against Ethiopia. You had a fantastic game. What should Abuja fans expect from you in tomorrow's game against Cape Verde, knowing fully well that there are no longer minnows in African football? A relatively unknown side, but with plenty of players playing in the Portuguese league, Nigeria should definitely be a little bit worried.
Yeah, like you mentioned, there's no winners again in football. Every team has evolved and they are really growing at a very fast pace. And yeah, but for me as an individual, I just like every day I have a privilege to be called to the national team. It's all about representing with the maximum effort which I can, and giving my utmost best and making sure that I leave everything on that field, and knowing too well that of course I'm just privileged, to be called up, and yeah, and I appreciate the trust. So I just have to go in there, give it my best as always, and defend the badge. And talking about the captain, I'm privileged to be an acting captain, but yeah, on maybe he's a captain, like you all know. So that's it. Thank you.